Hi everyone, it's Kelsey with Jones Gold and Luxury coming at you with another video. Today's video is going to be about gold versus silver. So we're going to be focusing on silver and gold as a metal and in jewelry form. Before we got into this video any further, I wanted to show pure silver next to pure gold. On the left we have pure silver and on the right is pure gold. They are each 1 gram. These bars are dirty because of my fingerprints, and I apologize for that. If you look on the side, if I can pick these up, you'll see that the gold bar is thinner than the silver bar. And the reason for that is because gold is a lot more dense than silver, although these both weigh the same. So they are absolutely both beautiful metals. We'll take a closer look at the silver. And although it is dirty, you can see how beautiful this metal truly is. And then we'll go ahead and check out the gold, which is beautiful on its own as well. So both are magnificent metals. I just want to kind of put a disclaimer that when it comes down to if you prefer wearing gold or silver jewelry, it's really depends on your personal preference and your budget. Some people just prefer silver colored metals over a yellow toned or gold toned metal. We're going to go ahead and start with silver. So silver was first mined around 3000 to 4000 BC. We don't know the exact date, but we can kind of get an estimate. And it was close around the same time gold was first mined. Now, this first occurred in Turkey and Greece, and silver was really the byproduct of lead, copper, and zinc, the production of those types of metals, because silver was often found with those types of metals. Silver rests between copper and gold on the periodic table, so it has actually a lot of similarities with gold. It is relatively malleable in its pure form, and so it can be work hardened pretty easily for jewelers when it comes to hand making jewelry, etc. So silver is estimated by scientists to be about 19 times more abundant than gold in Earth's crust. The key word there is Earth's crust. We don't know about the closer we get to the core. Now, for all of the silver mined versus all of the gold mined in the world, we're looking for silver being about 8 times more abundant. A common misconception is that sterling silver is pure silver. This is incorrect. It's actually 92.5% pure silver. And the other percentage is an alloy, which can be copper, zinc, platinum, a mixture of a bunch of different metals that strengthen the overall jewelry, because silver in its pure form is relatively malleable. So here we have a chart showing the price of silver per ounce, I believe, over the past 100 years. I would also like to take note that this is adjusted for inflation. It has still a positive trend line, but it is nowhere near as strong as the trend line for gold. And it's almost staggering at a horizontal trend line, but just slightly upward. Silver does not oxidize fairly easily. It is near gold on the periodic table because it does pretty well holding up against tarnishing. However, unlike pure gold, silver does tarnish, and that happens because sulfur compounds mix with the surface of silver, and what happens is a black silver sulfide is created where you kind of have this black tarnish look over time. And basically jewelry or silver itself just needs to have that top layer cleaned off for it to regain its shine. The top 3 producers of silver worldwide, as in they've mined silver the most, is Mexico, Peru, and China. Silver is formed within our planet's crust through sulfur compounds, and this happens whenever our crust gets really hot, around 200 to 400 degrees Fahrenheit, and there's a reaction with other metals, with the sulfur compounds in the other metals getting to that hot temperature, silver is created. Another great thing about silver is that it is relatively affordable. Right now in July almost of 2023, silver is at a pretty low price relative to gold. In fact, it's a lot cheaper than gold right now. And I do expect silver to increase in price in the future, but right now it's extremely reasonable. When you buy a silver jewelry piece, you are mostly paying for the labor, as for the actual material itself is very affordable. So silver is very popular with metalsmiths because it's very affordable, and silver itself is very similar to gold and brass and other types of metals, and it's great to practice with and make fine jewelry with affordable material. And I will say that some of the best jewelry I have ever seen is done by primarily silversmiths. They just have a lot of practice with the metal because it is affordable, and they can create absolutely fantastic pieces. It's truly works of art. Where you don't see that as often with gold because gold is so expensive and it doesn't really get that silver sulfide look that you can, where you have that beautiful shining silver with these black crevices, and artists can really put like almost a shadowing to a jewelry piece by tarnishing certain aspects of the piece, and it almost looks like it has a shadow or a unique touch or an artistic approach. So that's why a lot of artists and metalsmiths love silver. For some people, that they may think that that's wild that jewelers actually oxidize or tarnish silver to give an overall aesthetically pleasing look or an artistic approach. It doesn't hurt the metal, it doesn't hurt the jewelry. In fact, it just gives it a black composition along with the white composition on the piece, and it just gives it a little bit more shading and different. It's a different approach, and there's nothing wrong with that, and it's fairly common. All right, so let's get into gold. Gold was found around the same time as silver, about 4000 BC, and it was one of the first worked metals, similar to silver. Gold was particularly popular with all different civilizations, along with silver. However, one particular civilization that gold was more popular with than silver was Egypt. Egypt did have some silver pieces, but gold was their primary go-to. For some reason, they just had a very big affinity towards gold. So gold is the most non-reactive metal of all of the metals, and it does not tarnish or rust or oxidize. And that's for pure 24 karat gold. If we're talking about 18 karat, 14 karat, then yes, it could potentially tarnish over time, but it would take many, many, many years. But pure gold does not tarnish, oxidize, etc. Gold is the only metal that has that yellow gold color. Some metals may have that color after oxidation, so they get like a yellowish tinge. Silver actually can get that look as well over time from oxidation, but naturally no metal has a yellow gold color, and that's what makes gold really unique. People often get confused with solid gold jewelry. It is not pure 24 karat gold, and the reason why is that pure 24 karat gold is relatively a soft metal and easily scratches and is very malleable. Now, it's still a metal and it's hard, but relative to its alloys, it is not as strong. And so oftentimes you will see gold sold in jewelry form as 10 karat, 14 karat, 18 karat, 22 karat. It's not common to see jewelry sold in 22 and 24 karat, and that's just because of the wear and tear and the deformity that the jewelry receives over time. Now, if it's a very thick 24 or 22 karat piece, it will last for a very long time. It will receive some scrapes and dings, but it should not deform just because of how thick the metal is. Very thin, dainty pieces will absolutely deform over time. So 10 karat gold is 41.7% gold, while the other mixture of the metal is with alloys. So it could be with silver, zinc, copper, aluminum, etc. 14 karat is 58.5% solid gold, with the rest of the percentage going to 100% as alloys. 18 karat gold is 75% gold, and 24 karat is pure 24 karat gold. I believe 22 karat is around 91% pure gold. I forgot to mention that. If you ever forget the percentages, it's very simple to calculate. For example, if you have a 12 karat gold ring, just put 12 over 24, which would be 50%. So for the amount of gold ever mined in the world, it would fill up 3.42 Olympic swimming pools. So that's for the amount of gold ever mined. That's really not that much. Now for the gold that's left as a remainder to be mined, well, scientists aren't exactly sure, but they would estimate about one more Olympic swimming pool, maybe half of it. The top 3 producers of gold, which by mining, is the United States, Australia, and China. So this is really out there, but it is in fact true, and some people just need to read it on the internet for their own eyes to believe it. But gold is actually extraterrestrial, and some people watching this video are going to be like, wait, what? But it's true. Gold is actually formed through supernovas. Yes, it's formed in the stars. Well, it's formed in stars, but only stars that are exploding in giant supernovas. So gold is literally extraterrestrial, which is insane to me. And I think that that's what makes it so fascinating. Now, besides for the storage of wealth and for jewelry, gold and silver are used for many other things. Both metals are used in electronics because they have fantastic conductivity. Gold in particular is used in the automotive industry. Silver is used in water purification. Gold is used by orthodontists for gold fillings. And gold is used in mobile phones. Lastly, gold and silver is used in the medical industry. So gold and silver have a very interesting history when it comes to being used in medicine. In ancient times, China, other parts of Asia, and Europe used gold and silver in medical shamanic practices. Now, take that with a grain of salt because that seemed more on a cultural belief that gold and silver had medicinal properties. However, it was very common in ancient times. Gold in China was attempted to be used to treat smallpox, measles, and skin ulcers. Now, whether it was an effective treatment is not really well known. And in the 19th century, doctors attempted to use gold to treat depression, epilepsy, alcoholism, and more. So why was gold used for medical practices in the past along with silver? Well, they have antimicrobacterial properties, which is very interesting. And gold is an inert metal, which means it doesn't react with the other chemicals in our body. So gold and silver are used today on electroplating for implants in the body. Primarily gold, because as I mentioned, it's an inert metal that doesn't react with the other complex chemicals in our body. Now, modern medicine can get pretty complicated when it involves silver and gold, and it's always best to consult a doctor before you try anything at home. And this entire subject of modern medicine and silver and gold can get pretty complex. So I highly recommend that you check more of it out on the internet. It's really fascinating. So there we have it, gold versus silver. These are two fantastic metals and you really can't go right or wrong. It depends on your budget and your personal preference. I am particularly a gold junkie. I love gold and I think it is so beautiful and radiant, but I also wore silver for many, many years and I find it to be a beautiful, budget-friendly, precious metal. So, do you like gold or silver more? Why? Put your answer in the comments below. Thanks so much for watching this video. If you liked it, give it a thumbs up and feel free to subscribe to the channel for more videos in the future like this one. Feel free to leave a comment below. I always like seeing everyone's comments. It always generates a very interesting dialogue. And if you're wanting to learn more about Jones Gold and Luxury, check out the rest of the channel, or you can check out jonesgoldluxury.com. Thanks for watching, guys.